Working hard, I might stump, what's the problem? I ain't had shit to show, being modest. Now it's grams of the wax for my conscience. Brian James in LA, you're on college. I've been jumping on them planes like a hobby. Still moving with the pack like my partners. Put the John on them jets cause you wildin'. Put the bowl as a party on the island. Moment of silence. So good, get back to the topic. Grew up, it was me and Flocka. Grandma's and Big T, this my mama. I ain't even for the pain when my pots flip. Knew his name, that's it, never bothered. Mom said, you the man, son, you got this. Ever since I found a way to go and pop shit. Hold up, blaze through a whole zip. Took a seat at the table of my first flip. Days in red roof for my first whip. Split the money with the gang, never post pics. Seen a change in the game, had to coach it. Never let them take my wangs in the mold, bitch. Ever made in a month, nigga. Used to serve him at the minute just to front, nigga. Goddamn. Had to grow up quick, I made my own rules. Had my first child, got it jumping with music. Can't really hang with nobody who losing. I thought by now that you would go and get it, but I could hardly see niggas this distant. Know you get cropped if you not in the picture. And I made that tag and went got a bag. Shots to the Henny and OG prescriptions, put rebel shit on the map. Took a leap from where I started at. Started ballin', now I'm Chris Paul and Cass. Got him steady calling for the mold, but I'm on a roll, gotta call him back. And that's all fact.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. All carry-on items should now be stowed securely, either in an overhead bin or under the seat in front of you. All aisles, exits, and bulkhead areas should now be clear. All electronic devices should now be turned off and stowed, as they may interfere with the aircraft's navigational and communication systems. Once airborne, we'll let you know when you may use approved electronic devices, but note that some items may not be used at any time during the flight. You'll find a list of approved devices in the in-flight information section.
Re-indicted and it feels so good. Re-indicted and you knew what? We're live. Oh. May I have your attention, please, for a very important public service announcement. We are taking over the internet because the United States champion of word wrestling entertainment has returned for another edition of the Pocket Locker podcast. I am your host with the most, all the way from the East Coast, and as always, good people, I am in airplane mode. Folks, we have got a great lineup for you this evening, even though we are officially on indictment watch. It's not the first indictment, not the second indictment, not the third indictment, but I think it's the fourth, right? The fourth, the fifth, Can we get somebody on the research team to look into how many times this fucked up ass man has been indicted, because we're starting to lose count. But don't worry, y'all got to stop. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. There's plenty of unindicted crimes. There's plenty more indictments to come. Keep them coming. We are not indictment shy around here at all, folks. Get ready to kick back, grab something to drink, grab something to smoke, link up with the gang, greet your neighbor. It is time to jump into the musical portion of the program. Cheers, gang.
I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in a daze from your love, you see.
Yeah, she's hella talented.
I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you.
Doing it all on her own.
I can't let go. Some people go around the world for love. Yeah, they may
Carrie Ann's feeling up.
what they dream of. What you won't do for love. You have tried everything, but you don't give up. In my world, only you make me do for love what I would not do. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in a daze.
Yep. Nice to look at.
From your love,
No complaints over here.
I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. You know
Yeah, there's not enough music in the atheist community.
I can't believe the things
All the talking and talking and talking and talking.
what you won't do for love. You have tried everything, but you don't give up. In my world, only you make me do.
Yeah, gang, we're gonna have to think about this.
I would not do.
What's a good new career for a theology professor?
I've waited here for you ever long. Tonight,
You know how you be telling people, don't quit your day job. No, y'all really about to have to quit your day job. Yeah, if you're a theology professor, you need to start thinking about what's next.
What I would not do, what I would not do, what you won't do.
Nice. All right, gang, we got one more for you. Let's go ahead and get it going. This is one of our favorite covers, so we gon' hit it.
Yeah.
You are the spin.
My fire, the one desire, believe when I say I want it that way. But we are two worlds apart. I can't reach to your heart when I say I want it that way. it that way. Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a heartache. And tell me why. I never wanna hear you say I want it that way. Now that I see that we're falling apart and it's more than it used to be. Yeah. No matter the distance, I want you to know that deep down inside of me, you are my fire, the one desire. You
Hot take there, Trees. And even if we're talking about as the next vice president, I'm gonna say especially if we're talking about the next vice president.
I'm not gonna hear you sing. It's nothing but a heartbreak. 'Cause I want
Yeah, these guys are badass.
Tell me why, tell me why, tell me why, tell me why. You got to say. Tell me why, tell me why, tell me why, tell me why. You want it that way. Tell me why, tell me why, tell me why, tell me why. You say I want it that way.
Nice. All right, gang, let us take off on today's journey. And before we get into the main event, boy, we got a little something extra special that your boy YouTube Punk hit me up with, and I'm gonna share with y'all the audacity of these fools. Let me show y'all what's going on. When to be honest, when y'all heard Thao of Jesus, y'all was like, Jay, is this some kind of new Buddhism thing? Is this you trying to start a new Christian Eastern mysticism hybrid doo-wop type of non-faith? What we doing? What's this Thao stuff? What's this about? Nope. We are talking about the facedery going on in Minnesota.
Former Minneapolis police officer Thao will spend nearly 5 years in prison for his part in George Floyd's murder. He's the last of the 4 former officers involved to be sentenced. Our Barrett Leone was inside the courtroom this morning and has the latest.
Thao took to the stand this morning, but what he had to say didn't exactly please Hennepin County Judge Peter Cahill. Thao was sentenced to 57 months in prison, which is on the higher end of sentencing options. Now, Judge Cahill said that's because Thao played a larger role in Floyd's death compared to the other 2 officers with the same charges. Back in May, Thao was found guilty of 1 count of aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter following a bench trial. He's already served 340 days in prison so far, which counts towards his sentencing. This morning, we heard from the state reiterating that Thao stood by while George Floyd begged for his life. Prosecutors
now, gang, before we get into the fucked up shit, let me just send a whole shout out to the whole Minneapolis crew, because everybody, there's people in Minneapolis and Minnesota that going through it. And this shit is happening in Hennepin County. I happen to be teaching in Hennepin County this semester, gang. I'm officially an instructor at North Hennepin Community College as part of their little hybrid partnership thing with the University of Minnesota. They send us over there to do some teaching, but y'all know me, I'm gonna be here teaching remotely because that's how I do what I do. But look, man, I gotta just shout out to my people. We gonna learn some things. We gonna have a good semester, but right now it's kind of a rough look because of this dude. He kind of needed to put a nice little bow on this whole thing, let people know that you're just can you imagine the remorse the man must be feeling being involved in the death of George Floyd? This is his time to set the record straight, to let us know how unbelievably remorseful you are at the role you played in this innocent man's death. But y'all, did y'all already got something else gonna happen? Yeah, cause he just Christian this shit right on.
Argue that Thao could have and should have intervened. Thao then spoke. He started by saying he didn't have any ill intentions that day, and then he launched into a 30-minute speech about Jesus and his journey through the gospel without making much connection to the crime he was convicted
Can you
for.
imagine?
For we must give an account on the day we appear before God.
Oh no.
Therefore I must obey. hold on to the truth that I did not commit these
no.
crimes. My conscience is clear.
I was hoping for a little more
no.
remorse, regret, acknowledgement of some responsibility, and less preaching.
Now, Thao was already sentenced to 3.5 years in federal prison for federal civil rights violations.
That is how not to argue for a lesser sentence. That can you imagine Christianing worse than that shit right there? Christians, y'all, that's what y'all do. That's what y'all do. And don't sit here and try to act like he was faking the funk, Christians. Oh, he's not one of the good ones. That shit is exactly the Christian message played out in real time. Tell me what part of Christianity that man had fucked up. That is exactly what y'all want people to do. The motherfuckers get locked up for the most heinous crime on the planet. And do y'all get up in there and talk about what they did, how to fucking take accounting for what they did, the motherfucking restorative justice and what they got to do in the people's lives of the victims and the community? No. You need them to make it right with the Lord. And you be telling them that true freedom from guilt and true salvation and forgiveness and grace and all of this shit, they gotta get with Jesus. And then if they get right with Jesus, that is all that matter, in that their sins are washed away. Please tell me what part of the Christian message this man got wrong. Y'all be preaching this shit every single fucking day. That is the grace of God. That is the best part about sweet, sweet Jesus. He'll make all your guilt and shame go away. None of that bad shit you did matters. That wasn't even you. You're born again. Christians, what the fuck? Born again? Really? You're born again, made anew, all that shit. This man was stepping in. He was like, yep, what? Yeah, all right. Yeah, we snuffed him out, but I got right with Jesus. I've been going for 340 days and I done got right with the Lord. And the Lord's, I've done nothing wrong. I've done nothing wrong. I'm fine. I'm washed free in his blood. We all will stand account, but only God can judge me. Tell me what part this man got wrong. Oh man, that's what happens when you know, remember that y'all ever heard that singing that Dave Chappelle sketch, when keeping it real goes wrong? That's what happens to Christians. When keeping it Christian goes wrong. That's exactly what we just saw right there. That's what we're gonna call that from now on. When keeping it Christian goes wrong. Absolutely off the motherfucking rails. All right, gang. Let's jump into the main event of the evening, which I'm not even gonna lie to you. I should have said the co-main event of the evening, because the main event of the evening might be your former president, because I don't associate with this country, Donald fuckface Trump, getting indicted for the umpteenth time. Y'all know what umpteenth mean? A lot of y'all don't know. Umpteenth is black people for I stopped keeping track. All right, so with that being said, I'm gonna just cast my vote and say that a good career is the question of the day. Link it's in the description. Go down in the description, read the question of the day, answer it in a little comment. My answer is I'm going magician's assistant. You know, I think if you used to be a theology professor, magician's assistant is like a good look. It's like a good, you know, you could do a lot worse. You could do a lot worse. All right, let's go ahead and get this shit going. We got another logic, always fun. That's why I'm in a good mood. Gonna have some fun with this one, and you know, we're gonna talk about 8 horrible reasons, terrible reasons to believe in God. Y'all know what happened. I saw the shit pop up on my timeline, and unlike Uncle Bobby, I didn't see the shit. I just saw that the shit happened, and I was like, we're gonna watch this shit on air. So I haven't seen this. I don't know what the fuck he talks about, but y'all know it's gonna be a good time. So let's jump on into it.
8 reasons I believe God exists, from a theology professor. That's the video we're looking at today. And considering he tries to bring some authority to himself right there in the title by referring to himself as a professor, this should be held to a very high standard. So set your expectations as high as they go. And any of you people who accuse me of only going after low-hanging fruit, take note that this is what the high fruit sounds like. And at the end of the video, how about you tell me what exactly is different?
Welcome to Reason.
Oh, I'm sure you're gonna sound like you're high on something.
8 reasons I believe God exists.
Did you just move in? Why is it so echoey? You've managed to place your potted plant
Facts,
in your mirror, but where's the rest of your stuff? I don't get this bland, white wall minimalist aesthetic. Put in like a orange shag carpet and a big cushy couch with floral patterns on it.
Reason number 1. One of the things
But
that
like, also like, why are you in the stairway? Come on, bro. That look like kind of a nice pad you got there. Like, you know, there's got to be a better place to do this. This is like when they're always in their car, but maybe the car makes more. At least the car makes it kind of seem like you're on the you're on the go. You know what I mean? You're busy and you got to do your apologetics on the go. So you can't set up in your spare bedroom. You got to just hit it, you know, with the dash cam. Hit him with the dash cam. But yeah, I don't get anything about this. But why he gotta be he seemed like a perfectly reasonable human being. So you never know who the crazy Christians are in the room. It's scary. You can't judge a book by its cover, gang. You never know who's crazy as shit for cuckoo for Jesus puffs.
List for people who do not believe that God exists is that they define a God in which I don't believe.
An omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, omnibenevolent creator of the universe. You don't believe that?
Bruh, everybody knows what God is, and exactly this is when the Christians be starting to act. Here come the fucking word game showers.
For example, an atheist would say something like, I don't believe in God because God is evil. Well, I don't believe in an evil God either.
You're a fucking idiot, bro. Look at the smile on his face. Look at the smug that has come over him. He is so pleased with himself. You know why? Because this is what Christians be doing when they talk to each other. So they get so used to talking to each other on that low shit, like where they could twist the word and use it in the Christianese, and then all of a sudden it means something magical, that when they try that shit out in public, they not prepared for the rest of us to be like, holy shit, that was unimpressive. What? Like, bro, we all know what and who God is. And when we say God is evil, we're not making up an evil God for you to tell us whether or not you believe in an evil God. We are telling you the God that you claim to believe in is fucking evil. And I'm not finna sit here and play this fucking game where you act like you have some kind of reasonable response from that. Again, like, if God is not evil, evil does not exist. Like, literally, nobody says it. Gang, do you know that Hitler was once named Time Man of the Year? Yeah, Hitler was great. Yeah, there was a time right. Does anybody give a fuck? No, nobody gives a fuck. After you genocided people, you're on the fucking shit list. All right. And God, that's God. God is fucking on the shit list. He fucking killed everybody that was alive. He sacrificed his own son. He's responsible for hella genocides, hella bigotry, hella slavery. Dog, like, I'm not finna have this conversation with a grown man. Like, Christians, y'all gotta just eat it. You worship an evil God. You just got to say that you fear him and he favors you, and you love him because he favors you. And so through the divine favor in his fear, you come to love the majesty of his promises, or whatever. See, you gotta Christianize your way out of it, because there's really, sane people don't debate shit like this. Your God is fucked up and you're kind of an asshole for believing in it. But you know, do you, boo?
I don't believe in God because God is evil? That's pretty dumb. Yeah, if somebody said that to this guy, shame on you. At least if you said it exactly that way, which I kind of doubt if anybody actually did.
Exactly.
God's evil, so I don't believe he's real. Total non sequitur. Now, of course, if you'd use the problem of evil argument to point out
I might say it like that,
between
though,
the claimed characteristics of this God, that's different. That's not just an emotional argument. And that's something that could be validly used to argue against what I presume is the God this guy believes in. The all-good, all-knowing, all-powerful God. And that's more likely what this guy actually heard, which he's now characterizing as just, God's evil, I don't believe it.
And if you go to my last video, you'll see exactly why I don't believe in an evil God.
The last video is called Bad Things, Good People. How can God and evil coexist? So yeah, sounds like that's addressing the problem of evil argument. Maybe I'll look at that some other time. I'm not going to get deep into that conversation right now. This is not a video about the problem of evil. The main point, I think, is that I know that you don't think your God is evil. Other people might disagree, for whatever reason, but if they disagree, that doesn't mean the thing doesn't exist. It could just mean that it doesn't possess omnibenevolence. So if somebody holds that position on your God's character, that might be sufficient to reject your version of it, but I would not say it's a sufficient basis to claim that no God exists in general.
And why the God I believe in is necessarily good by definition.
Right, you define God as good, you believe God
Dumb
is
as
necessarily
shit.
good.
That's
Fine.
dumb as shit.
Some other person might think that's not true, could be right, could be wrong. In any case, that's their opinion.
That's another dumb thing to do, though. Like, how could something be good by definition? Is it good? Because only good is good by definition. You can't be like, nothing else gets to be something else by definition by way of it not being that thing, therefore necessarily being something that needs to be defined some other way, as so that it can be consistent with the idea of it being fucking something else, right? Now, I'm sorry I had to draw it up. Look, I'm not the motherfuckers running around saying that shit. Don't look at me. They say that stupid shit. We gotta break it down. They literally tell you God is good by definition. No. A or not A. A is by definition A. Everything else is fucking not A. Holy shit.
They use that opinion to try to say there's no God at all. That's going too far. In my opinion, at least. But I'm not sure about yours, because if you're defining God as necessarily good by definition, and therefore anything that's not good is not God, then if somebody believes that the being claimed to be God is in fact evil, that would be equivalent to saying that the being claimed to be God is not in fact God. I have to say, though, I feel like we're getting really off track here, because this is supposed to be 8 reasons you believe God exists. And so far, your first reason is that other people define God wrong. That's not going to be the entire reason, is it? How other people define things really has nothing to do with your reasons for believing something. You can define it however you want. Just tell me what you believe and then explain to me why you believe it.
They might also say something like, God is angry, God is selfish. The truth is, I don't believe in that God either.
Okay, so stop telling me what other people say God is that he actually isn't, and tell me what you say God is, and then tell me why you think it's true. Why are we starting off a conversation about your justifications for your beliefs by attacking random, unnamed other people's definitions?
So it's really important how we define God, and that is the task of theology. We often base our definitions of God on our relationships. So if I've met many selfish people and the epitome of selflessness is a very low standard in terms of the people I've interacted with, then unfortunately, I might think that God himself is selfish, not selfless.
Why? That doesn't make any sense. I've met selfish people before, therefore God is also selfish. Another total non sequitur. Look, I don't deny that there are incredibly
This guy definitely needs to quit his day job. Gang, help this guy find another form of employment.
Why are you telling me this as if this is relevant to your standards of belief? Why are we talking about this? Here's the reasons I believe in God. Number 1, some people are dumb. What are you trying to tell me here? That you believe in God based on the personal mental failures of other people? Well, that's no different at all from the people who apparently, supposedly, told you that they believe God is selfish because other people are. It's basically the same non sequitur.
I'm gonna be a YouTube slut. And if you stick through to the end of this video, perhaps you will hear a very good reason to believe in God.
Random other people have personality issues, therefore some random conclusion about God's personality.
If many people I've
But
met
also, if
in
you
the
don't, it's his
world
fault.
are angry, or I've never met somebody who is calm enough or peaceful enough, then perhaps my image of God is skewed.
Why? How? That's insane. And again, what's the relevance? What point are you trying to make? Oh, we're on point number 1 here. Reason number 1 for why you believe God exists. And you're just shit-talking other anonymous people. Just like, look at those people. They have bad reasons for stuff. So what? What is going on in this video?
Yeah, and Christians, like, this is why you should start believing that your God is fucking evil, because he makes you look like a fucking jackass every time you try to defend him. Now, what kind of good God would do that?
Our definition of God is limited to our experience of others and then reflected back onto the definition of God.
It's not, unless you're an absolute moron. Are you saying that's how it works for you? And you accept that standard? Are you joking?
We may have an issue and we have to discuss who is the God you're rejecting, who is the God you're accepting.
Okay, how about we discuss that in another
The one
video?
that exists.
Another video
Just
about people who
show me
reject
one
God
that
for
exists.
really, really crappy reasons. Now, can you please tell me the first reason why you believe God exists?
He
This
was
video is
born a
less
Christian.
than 8 minutes long. We're like a minute and a half in, and we haven't even gotten to the first reason. All you've done is smear other people who you haven't named.
The second reason I believe that God exists.
The second reason, what happened to the first?
Are you kidding? Are you kidding with this? Okay, so retitle this video 7 Reasons I Believe God Exists from a theology professor, because we're just now getting to the first one, if indeed it is one. How did you manage to fail the first step of the video? Look, I could maybe understand if on the 8th one or the 7th one you kind of stumbled. You got bored of writing, you lost track, you forgot what you were doing. But how did you manage to fail on the first step? That's
Exactly,
a rare
Gary.
and special level of failure. Cherish this video, audience. We don't get this very often.
The second reason I believe that God exists is because of the existence of morality.
Oh, great. Well, it's not going to be a good reason. We know that. But at least it might be a reason this time.
And this is a debate back and forth between atheists and theists or deists. I will pull the professor card here. So I am a professor of theology and I am also specialized in ethics.
You don't have to tell people all your business.
People pay you for this, do they? Do you teach stuff like this in your class? Like, hey, class, I'm going to explain
It's
to you
so
how we know
sad.
God
I
exists.
know.
Okay,
Oh, number
Some
one.
people have dumb definitions and dumb reasons.
And
for stuff.
atheists say
So,
God is
everybody on board the
evil.
God train now?
And I
But
have
God's
not
good by
found a
definition.
single
Can you
convincing
imagine?
argument.
Can you look? Let's not overthink this, gang, because I might be showing up at certain universities in the morning, really talking about. I need to see your payroll. I need to see your payroll. I really do, because look, as somebody's trying to keep a little academic job together, situation type thing. It's a lot of work. I'm gonna just say it's a lot of work, and then it'd be a lot of competent people. It's like a lot of competent people out there. They be having PhDs and all types of shit, and they work hard and they smart and they brilliant, and then they be trying to do they hard work and they be trying to put they shit together. But what the fuck are we doing wrong that these fuckers are running around talking about some, God is real? Because some people say God is evil, but I say God is good by definition. And they're like, oh yeah, and who do we make the check out to? Yeah. Oh yeah, no, would you like direct deposit? Yeah, we'll make sure that's real. No. See, y'all gonna have me talking shit about university. See, I'm trying to support the academic professions here, but y'all are making it very difficult for the rest of us.
That compels me to think that ethics and morality can exist, or that standards of morality can exist apart from their foundation and grounding in God.
Okay, ethics and morality are human activities. They clearly exist in the abstract.
Now, look, for those of you that are new here, let me tell you something. This is one of those areas where it's going to surprise you. Hold on to your buttholes when I say this, but the veterans will know. We actually agree about this. We agree about this. We actually agree that God, Yahweh, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and God is Jesus plus the Father, and together they make the Holy Ghost, but God is not, Jesus is not the Holy Ghost, and together they are not with the Father. Okay. But God is the objective standard of morality. We 100% agree about that part. Yeah, the part we don't agree with is you think God is the ceiling. We think God is the floor. Again, I cannot imagine a more murderous, homicidal, egotistical, like literally, like we talk about narcissism. We're trying to become aware of narcissism in the world. Imagine something that says, your suffering is for my glory. I let you watch your child die of cancer to give me glory. Yeah, again, we agree. Your God is the objective standard of fucking morality.
Sense that like soccer games exist, and humans of course have moral standards, therefore standards of morality also exist. Now, I don't imagine that's satisfying to you. I imagine what you mean is that morality exists outside of humanity, that it's a feature of reality beyond us. But see, that's not what you said. That's me making up a headcanon, trying to explain away the plot hole, to use a movie analogy.
Let me be a little bit more precise.
Ah, good. I guess I didn't need to jump in and help you there.
You can be moral and
Exactly,
can be ethical
Karen.
without believing in
Fucking
God.
sellout.
You cannot defend those ethical claims. You cannot defend moral claims without belief in God.
And that's
Never
the
mind.
shit
I guess I
talking.
did have to jump
That's
in and
the
help
shit
you.
talking.
I was
You
right the
can't
first
even
time.
defend
so
those
you say
moral
defend your
claims.
moral claims. Well, my moral claims are that there are actions humans perform that I find
Christians
unacceptable,
always talking
and
like
which I
they
will
wanna
not
fight.
accept. And there are actions that I find praiseworthy and which I will praise. I suppose you could say I'm lying that I hold these positions, but I don't think you will. In any case, I believe I can defend them. I believe I can put forth at least some evidence that I hold these positions, and more than that, you could probably hook me up to some kind of a machine to register my brain state while I'm exposed to certain types of stimuli relating to human actions, and see that my brain reacts in a way consistent with how I claim it does. So yeah, I definitely believe I can defend my moral claims. Now again, I don't think that's what you mean. I think what you mean is that I can't defend claims that this or that action is objectively right or objectively wrong. Again, you didn't say that.
Stupid.
That's me making up a headcanon to explain away the plot hole. But regardless, I don't believe actions are objectively right or objectively wrong. I have no need of this. To me, that has no place in human interactions with each other. It has no relevance, it has no importance,
None
and more
at
importantly,
all.
it has no factual basis. Now, the reason that you're presenting for why you believe in God
And
here-
again, Christians, why do y'all please just stop saying this? There are things, look, I hate Christianity and I think it's stupid, but there are still times we're trying to help you out. We're trying to do you a favor because you're embarrassing all of us and it's so cringy and we just hate watching you fail so vehemently. So look, stop saying this. Again, go read your Bible or something. Like, don't have you read the book? Do you see all the shit your God does in the book? And you think it's a good idea to come around talking to the rest of us about standards of morality and what's good? This is not this isn't the part of town y'all want to be driving through late at night. Like this is that's not what y'all want to do. Again, y'all want to stick with like your God does shit that he has his own stuff because I'd avoid this.
Is that humans perform certain actions. We have certain opinions. We wish for ourselves or for others to act in certain ways and to not act in certain ways. This is what ethics and morality and standards of morality all mean. And you're claiming that these standards and morality are indefensible on an objective basis without a God, which I find extremely dubious. I think plenty of people find some sort of objective basis to believe in that is not God, a basis they think is objective, anyway. But let's just grant your assumption for the sake of argument. That still leaves you with the problem of, is it defensible on an objective basis? Okay, you want it to be, you think it should be, in your ideal world it would be, but is it? And how do you know? So that's what I'm hoping you'll address in the next few seconds, because otherwise you're missing the central point of this reason to believe in God.
So it is their defense. It is saying that one thing is better than another. It is a hierarchy of values that cannot be achieved without belief in God.
Okay, so values are basically just things that people consider important. In this case, about human behavior. And the importance of these values to any particular person can vary over time. And if you think about them as ranked by importance, that will form a hierarchy of values.
Exactly.
I claim this is impossible to do without God, and I'm not seeing why.
And since I do believe there is a moral standard and there are moral maxims, I do believe in God.
I too believe there's a moral standard and moral maxims. I don't believe it has anything to do with God, and I don't believe it's permanent and unchanging over time. I know because it's my standard.
All right, gang. You're maybe we should have modified today's question. What's a good career for a theology professor if you're really dumb? Because this is just some stupid shit right here. This is not good at all. And the fact that he could be so smug about this, it's really crazy. I don't even want to know whose channel this is, because he probably has a disgusting amount of subscribers, and
they're my maxims, humanity. And they have changed over time. And this goes
Has
for
Donald
other
Trump
people
been
as well,
indicted again
likely
yet?
including yourself. If you look around the world, morality and what counts as a moral action is seen very differently in different places and between different people. You might say, moral relativism. That means you tolerate everything.
We're getting more
if you come
towards
up and
this
spit in
guy's
my
skill
face
set.
or kidnap my dog, we're going to have a problem. I don't care if you thought you were doing a great thing. That severely violates my moral standard. This is not going to go well. Now again, I totally understand that what you want to talk about is objective morality, in which case I don't understand why those words didn't come out of your mouth. In any case, though, there's no defense of the concept of objective morality there, you just say you believe in it. Which, I guess, fair enough, you believe in objective morality for some reason, and you believe that it requires a God to exist for some reason. I mean, I gotta give it to you. That's what they give us. That you believe in God. It's just one based on assumptions that you haven't justified in this video and which I don't share, which is not necessarily a problem. It's entirely possible you've argued for objective morality's existence elsewhere.
Reasons number 3 and 4 collapse into one title, which is that atheism requires faith.
Oh, does it? Well, we sure wouldn't want...
Oh my goodness. I had no idea how stupid this guy was going to be. Atheism requires faith. The lack of faith requires faith. Christianese has just gotten out of control. This is your brain on Jesus. And it's totally like a thing he's heard other apologists say that he thought sounded clever. I'm not even gonna tell y'all, but y'all know the speech. Look, not believing in shit doesn't require faith. Let's keep it moving.
Want to believe claims that require faith? Christians don't go for that sort of thing.
You've probably heard this before.
Yes, all too often.
One area where atheism requires faith is that if I am an atheist, I must believe that all things that have been created were created from nothing by nothing.
Must I? According to who? You? You're just demanding that I must believe that? Yeah, I don't believe that. If you insist that I have to believe that, I think you better justify it for me first, because I don't believe that any more than I believe the God explanation. Surely, as a theology professor, you must be versed in philosophy at least enough to recognize the distinction between the rejection of the claim of God's existence and the acceptance of the claim that everything was created by nothing from nothing.
Also, like, it's so annoying because this is what believers believe. They literally believe Magic Sky Daddy was all alone in the eternal ether, was bored as shit, sitting around being all godly by himself, and was like, I want a fucking universe. And so he poofed into existence a universe that then just happened to unfold according to basically the laws of natural phenomenon, because that's what all the evidence suggests. But you know, hey, it's the non-believers who also definitely always say time and time again that that's not true. This is just dog shit.
The rejection of the one claim does not require in any way the acceptance of the other. These are two completely separate things to be considered separately. When I say things like, I don't have any particular position on the origin of the universe prior to the Big Bang because I lack sufficient understanding, that is not me saying, I have a firm position on the origin of the universe prior to the Big Bang and this is what it is. Absolutely not. Put your words in your own mouth, not mine. I don't like sharing things from other people's mouths. I don't want your word cooties.
I think it's much more
Word
probable
cooties
that
you
all
will
things that
have.
we see are created by somebody, even if it's out of nothing.
I think the idea of creating things out of nothing is
that's
absurd.
a pretty dumb
Whether
thing
you
to
claim
say.
nothing did it or whether you claim God did it. By nothing, I mean like religious, philosophical type nothing. I don't consider it any more reasonable to think, yeah, something was created from nothing by God than something was created from nothing by nothing. The problem is the something being created from nothing. Can you justify that?
You cannot experimentally reproduce something being created out of nothing.
Who cares?
And if you go, there are experiments in which they put things into vacuums, although vacuums are not nothing,
I agree.
to see if there will be
Sure.
any spontaneous combustion or existence of particles.
Spontaneous combustion? In a vacuum? Combustion of what? Combustion is the oxidization of fuel. It requires both oxygen and fuel. But then you also say existence of particles. Spontaneous combustion or spontaneous existence of particles.
He meant bang. They wanted to
Radically
see if
different
it banged
things.
like the
But okay,
Big Bang, and
spontaneous
it didn't
existence
bang,
of particles.
man.
So what are we talking about? Like the Casimir effect?
if it was-
Quantum
if it-
vacuum
if it
fluctuations
boom,
producing
if it went boom,
virtual
boom, boom, boom,
particles?
boom.
Look, I agree. If you have a quantum field, that's not going to be nothing in the sense that we're talking about. It's irrelevant to the question being so absurd that it's barely even worthy of consideration. And yet you're telling me that the answer to this question that I have to believe, that you demand that I believe, is that it had to have happened. No, don't be silly. But you have to be silly, because what you're trying to do here is create a false dichotomy between a very, very silly explanation.
Spoiler alert, he's defending God, and yeah, there's really no there's no path to defending God that isn't a fucking road just where all the scenery is fucking silly town, just fucking Goofyville, just fucked upness, the utopia, whatever the fuck you want to say, gang. It's crazy town all the way down. That's
for
all
the
I'm trying to tell
universe,
you.
and, well, your silly explanation for the universe. It's got to be one of the two silly explanations, and I find this one sillier. So mine is true. It has
Can't
to
believe
be
I used to
in
be
my
a
fake
Christian.
little universe where there are only two options. This is really sad, man.
You cannot reproduce something coming into existence out of nothing.
Yeah, I don't think that could be produced in the first place.
And in any case,
Also, Uncle Bobby was on Ember's channel today. Check that out. That was dope.
you cannot
did a
reproduce the
live.
creation of the universe.
Reproduce the creation of the universe. Wait, now are you talking about we have no way to actually scientifically reproduce the creation of the universe, therefore we can't know what it was or how it worked? Are we switching gears onto that now? Because that's a completely different thing. Now, of course, whether we can or can't create a universe, or more specifically go back in time and create our own universe, really is not relevant. That's not how science works. That's not how you learn things about the past. But much more to the point, let's say that we can't find out how the universe originated. That doesn't make the answer God. The origin of the universe is not controlled by the ignorance of humanity. Our ignorance doesn't make the answer change. The answer is what it is regardless of what we know. It could be some answer we haven't even come close to thinking of yet.
Yeah, and I got to be honest with you. That's why the answer for me is not only it's I don't know, it's genuinely I don't care. I always want to ask this. Have you guys heard of beer? This here, beer? What about marijuana? Or let's keep it a little bit more mild. Y'all like, do you like video games? What about chess, movies? The thing I'm trying to drive home, Christians, is that people do things that are fun in life. And they don't give a shit about where the universe came from. Nobody has ever nobody's ever been like, I don't know if I should go to that. Are we gonna have a party night? Yeah, we're gonna get down, but I don't know where the fucking universe came from. I can't go to the party. I don't even know. Where did it all come from? It doesn't work that way. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And I got more news for you. Y'all don't know either. And the people who wrote the Bible, they had less of a clue than either me or you. What did I tell you about them? I be actually really do hoping sometimes that they come up with something new, something interesting, something that stumps us a little bit, something that sounds other than just totally ridiculous. And I think it's my own vanity. I think it's really that I want to feel less stupid for the fact that I used to be a Christian. So I'm like, there has to be something. I know if I just listen to one more apologist or watch one more video or read one more of they bullshit posts or blogs or whatever the fuck they be doing, then I will finally see that really persuasive thing that I was like, maybe that's why it got me for so long. But I was brainwashed.
Doesn't mean we're correct if we just say the answer is God.
So to say that it is scientifically invalid to be religious, or that if you are not religious, then you believe in science, is not quite accurate.
Okay, well, I'm not aware of any especially compelling scientific evidence that God in fact created the universe. If you want to present some, go for it. I'm not going to say it is scientifically invalid to, by be religious, I assume you mean believe in God, not be religious in a broader sense. Maybe you guys have some brilliant scientific insight that the rest of us don't have.
Absolutely.
I do find the claim suspiciously unfalsifiable. That's troubling. But regardless, I won't be an absolutist about this. I'll leave the possibility open of the potential for somebody holding this position for scientifically valid reasons. But the other one you said is that it's not quite accurate if you say that if you're not religious, then you believe in science. And I want to know who says that. Who says, I'm not religious, therefore I believe in science? There are a lot of people who'll say, I'm not religious, and also I believe in science. It might even be that people who are not religious are more likely to be interested in science. I don't know. That's a statistical question. I don't really care. The assertion is that people are saying there's some kind of a logical connection where being non-religious just means flat out you believe in science. One logically follows from the other, they're inseparable. I don't believe anyone's ever said that to you. It's possible that they have, but I don't buy it. I've never seen it. Ever. In all my years doing this, I have never once seen that in a comment, in a video, anywhere. I could be wrong. Go ahead and show me I'm wrong.
Because there are gaps in the logic and gaps in the scientific evidence, and the creation of the universe is certainly one of those.
Yeah, there's a gap there, so you might as well just jam God into it for no reason. See, you're saying there's a gap, but you don't actually believe there is. You believe it's filled with God. You don't think it's a gap.
Yeah, I don't know what the bad word was.
I also don't think there's a gap.
But
you
yeah,
tell me that what I must
robots.
believe, by definition as an atheist, is that the universe was created by nothing from nothing. Well, then apparently from my perspective, it's also not a gap. It's an answered question. So when you talk about there being a gap, what are you talking about? If I believe there's a God, I don't believe there's a gap because there's God there. If I don't believe there's a God, I don't believe there's a gap because there's nothing there. So who are these people perceiving this gap? Who doesn't have an answer to this question? Who perceives this as a question mark? The people who neither believe in a God nor don't? I don't know, maybe when you say atheist, you mean like a hard atheist. You mean somebody who says there is no God. And then the people who see this question as being a gap are the agnostics or soft atheists, or whatever you want to call them. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're allowed to have no firm conclusion about this, but the people who say there is no God aren't allowed to because that's not convenient. I don't know, it's hard to tell. You're not exactly being very specific here.
The fourth point, which is a subpoint of atheism requiring faith.
All right, so point number 3, or actually number 2, really, was I'm not an atheist because it requires faith. And I guess as a Christian, you just find faith an unacceptable standard. I mean, you must find it unacceptable as a standard for any sort of belief if you're rejecting positions on the basis that they require faith to believe. Correct? Obviously, I in no way agree that atheism requires faith, but that's your position, and I find it really, really remarkable for a Christian to say if something requires faith, it's false.
The fourth point, which is a subpoint of atheism requiring faith, is that
that's such a good point too.
Has order, beauty, organization. And the second law of thermodynamics states that entropy tends to increase within a system. Entropy here is disorder, disorganization.
Why would that create
so
not beauty?
It doesn't make any
goodness.
sense that the world would be created the way in which it was.
All right, let's not go to thermodynamics school
seriously,
here. You don't understand what entropy means. You need to go read about it. The entropy in the early universe was very low, and the entropy is much higher now. Increasing entropy does not in any way mean that you can't get gravitational agglomerations of matter like stars or planets. It doesn't mean there can be no order and nothing for you to find beautiful. Entropy is just about the energy available to do work, which declines over time. Yes, entropy can decrease locally, but that's just local. Apply the endless increase in entropy to the universal scale, and that's where ideas like heat death come from, where everything's still there, it just kind of lacks the ability to do anything anymore. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you argue is you're just talking out of your ass on this point. You quite literally don't know what you're talking
Which
about.
I'm
so
still
you should go and
failing
get more
to
information
see
on this from
as
someone more
not
knowledgeable
the
on
entire
this
basis
topic
of
than me.
theology.
If anything, the creation of the universe should have led to further chaos, not further organization.
I don't understand what you're trying to say. The creation of the universe, let's stick with the word origin instead of creation for this. The origin of the universe should have led to further chaos. Okay, for a start, the term chaos is confusing, and in physics it doesn't mean the same thing. So let's stick with entropy. So what do you mean that the origin should have led to more entropy? I mean, it seems like it did. It started at a very low entropy state, and that increased over time. I also don't understand how this has anything to do with theism or atheism. This is just some random topic in physics.
Honestly, it's just like garbly-gook. It's like a person just taking some mouthwash. You know, when you're trying to get the mouthwash all into your throat parts and shit. That's what Christians do, but they just spit out English words. Good, God's objective standard, God's awesome, God, the universe can't come from nothing. Like they're just word vomiting, just all over the place. How is this a real job? That's what's crazy. You know what though? He hasn't told us. Here's the question, gang. Here's the question. Where are you a theology professor? Because that's how you find the bad guy in the room. That's how you find it. It's you know, because I'm like, where is he at theology? He's not a theology professor at University of Minnesota. Yeah, we don't do that shit. Michigan State, nah, not having anywhere in the big, nah. It's got to be one of them hocus pocus magic type, you know, Christian colleges.
It is clear that there is an order, that there is not increasing chaos.
Oh, really? Entropy's not increasing. It's just not a thing. Cool. So perpetual motion machines.
Shout out to the community colleges, man. You honestly, because I say you're not at a community college. They do real education too, man. You know, got to give it up for the community colleges, the small liberal arts schools. Ain't none of this them doing this hocus pocus nonsense. Who is paying these people?
Ben, you into that stuff? Show it to me. Let me see it.
If I were to pick up a watch on the street, I wouldn't say it is incredible how this watch came together spontaneously.
Did he really just use the watchmaker argument? I'm not. Oh my goodness. How do people under 50 use arguments that have been debunked for like 2.5 centuries? I don't understand the time scale here. It's one thing when we be like, bro, that shit was so, you know, last year, right? You could fuck around the wrong fashion trend and be like, oh, bro, that was last year, right? But we be like, but mostly it's kind of like, man, that shit's, you know, people don't say that anymore. We don't do that. You know, you got to kind of get caught up with the times. But usually that's like, you know, you miss trends by a few years or something. What does it mean? Gang, this is William Paley's watchmaker argument. It wasn't good. It wasn't good when it was the freshest shit on the block, and it hasn't been the freshest shit on the block for eons. This is, you talking pre-Darwinian nonsense right here. We're just, you when you see a watch on the beach, you know it must have been made by a watchmaker. Nigga, just gotta know what a watch is. We're just gonna roll tape.
And tended to come into this organization out of non-organization on its own. I would say it's a really nice watch made by a watchmaker.
Okay, I don't think I'm going to address the watchmaker argument.
Okay, exactly.
Time. Can you please inform me what the hell that has to do with all of your rambling about entropy? I'm serious. You have literally no idea what you're even talking about. You don't even know what the topic is.
Same argument applies to the universe, to the world.
What does the design argument have to do with the second law of thermodynamics? Tell me this. I know you don't understand how, for the entire audience, that was a jarring shift to a completely different topic. That's because you don't understand what you're saying.
I am much more convinced that the order of the world was created by a person rather than completely by chance.
Completely by chance. Okay, so again, we have a false dichotomy of two silly options. Either it was created completely by chance, or a person did it. As if we've tossed causation and physics totally out the window and now everything's just chance. Do you see what I mean? How you literally don't know what the words you're saying mean? And I bet you couldn't even begin to tell me how what you just said is related to entropy.
The probability of the latter is very unstatistical. And in my estimation, would require a great deal of faith.
Oh no, faith. But yeah, your estimate is based on zero knowledge, apparently. I guess if you want to rely on that, that's fine for you. Just don't be surprised.
He said unstatistical. I don't think I've ever even heard anybody say that before. Oh, oh man! When the theology professor says something in front of the scientist, it just ends the entire meeting. Oh, I can't. Oh, I don't know what it was about that, but that was the best shit ever.
Nobody else does.
Point number 5. If I were not to believe in God, then I would necessarily have to believe.
Oh, another one. All right, let me get some paper. Here we go. I am ready to receive your command, my lord.
That every single person who has ever had any religious notion from the existence of the universe until this point in time were absolutely wrong on all religious accounts.
What? Why? If I believe there's no God, then the account they would have to be wrong about would be the God one. Everything else is still on the table. I could still believe Jesus walked on water and rose from the dead. I could believe Muhammad took a ride on a flying horse. I could believe in karma, demons, angels, ghosts, souls, heaven, visions, prophecies, all of it. Any of it.
Also, like, yeah, people are wrong about shit. Yeah, we're saying they were all wrong. Yeah, yep. And you just going right along with the dum-dum.
Means non-belief in God, not in all religious claims. Again, you get paid for this. You're a professor that people pay to take courses from. You get a salary from an institution for this. And yet you don't even know what topic the terms atheism and theism relate to. That is mind-boggling, dude. How did you manage that? How did you end up in that position? I mean, I gotta say, I'm impressed. Having said that, though, yes, every religious idea could be wrong. There's nothing especially unbelievable about lots of people being wrong. Even if your religion is true, everyone else is wrong. God or no God, being wrong seems to be the usual state of people on this topic.
So the fact that there are many religions across human history, more likely than not, points to the existence of a God.
Why? How? We already established in the first point that sometimes people believe things for dumb reasons. You shouldn't be surprised if that goes beyond just atheists and applies to everyone. I mean, look at your entire video, dude. You're the prime example.
Someone might respond and say, well, religion across history has just been a coping mechanism for the difficulties of the universe.
Well, that's part of it. Saying it's just that is far, far too simplistic.
And it doesn't seem like that's always the case. It doesn't explain all religious practices. It doesn't explain all religious experiences.
I agree. That's why it's a vast oversimplification. There are a huge number of reasons why people are religious, and they all play off and affect each other. Some of the reasons off the top of my head would be social pressure and indoctrination, a commitment to your family and your tribe and your traditions, oversensitive agency detection, dreams interpreted too seriously, at times hallucinations. They're far more common than you think. Faulty reasoning, as we've seen consistently through this video, emotional investment, such as the fear of uncertainty or abandonment or death, or positive feelings like feeling loved or feeling at peace or feeling connection.
Yo, they're all better reasons than this dude. Oh my
like the gradual
goodness.
Exaggeration of stories into myths. And I don't just mean
this guy has gone all up the ranks and down the scale of intelligence. I don't know how, but honestly, all that shit your grandmama be talking about is way more convincing than this dude. I just was raised a Christian because that's the right way to be. I just feel the love of Jesus in my heart. I just know that this life isn't all there is, and when this body is dead and gone, I will be living forever and in eternity with my sweet, sweet Lord. All of that is like way better. You don't really, please, if this is what is on the other side of a theology education, don't get one. Just say no. Just say no.
Of things like the Bible, things that potentially take hundreds of years to develop. I even mean things that get talked up within a human lifetime. And things like people lying to gain power over others or to gain attention or whatever. Those are also potential factors. This list could go on for a while. There's plenty of stuff to mention.
Yeah,
I think that's
he's the
enough for
most
now.
smug.
Yeah, I
he's
agree.
Doing
just
the
shrugging
most
and
smug.
saying, nah, it's a coping mechanism. While I think that is part of it, is just not enough.
Humans by nature are never entirely satisfied. We're seeking for something that fulfills us that is outside of us.
Like what? Family? Gardening? Recognition? Achievement?
That thing, that person is God.
Oh. Nah. Wait, what did that have to do with the point that not all religious ideas can be wrong? Again, you just randomly switch topics within the same point. Focus, man.
Point number 6, I alluded to earlier. One thing I notice in the debate between those who are religious and those who are non-religious is that those who are non-religious will say that I believe in science. I believe...
Bro, how come you didn't notice that in the debates between those that are religious and that those that are not religious, that those that are religious never win the debate? How is that not the most conspicuous feature? Gang, has anybody ever gone to see or seen on TV maybe the Harlem Globetrotters? Do y'all know who the Harlem Globetrotters go up against? See, some of y'all already know. It's not a whole league, y'all. They don't play a lot of team. They always play the Washington Generals. And gang, the only thing there is to know about when the Harlem Globetrotters play the Washington Generals is that the Washington Generals are not going to win. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. The whole thing is that the Harlem Globetrotters are always showing off their world-class, once-in-a-lifetime. They're so good at basketball, they can play it while doing tricks. And the Washington Generals just sit there and hold their hands up and they do tricks around them. That's how this goes. And that is pretty much what watching atheists and believers debate is like. The atheist always looks like LeBron James, and the theist always looks like a third grader who should be like off in the playground doing third grader stuff. Y'all never win. How have you watched more than like a handful of these debates and not noticed that y'all never, ever, ever, ever win any of them? None of them. And there's a lot of atheists I think are stupid, and y'all can't get nothing over on them. How is that not? I can't believe you didn't notice that.
Believe only in what I see and what I experience.
If you believe in
Bro,
science,
I don't trust none
you're
of his
typically not
senses.
going to just be believing what you see and experience. I haven't seen a gravitational wave. I'm not involved in the experiments for that. It's just kind of a weird way to put it. But yeah, there are lots of atheists who think the scientific method is a good way to learn information, and that thought processes like you're using are not. So what's your point?
First of all, science and religion are entirely compatible. There's nothing that has been discovered.
And wrong. Just tired of hearing people say it. They're not. You can be scientific sometimes and religious at other times, and the same people can be involved in both. But again, I'm not going to sit here and play the fucking word games. When people talk about religion, they're talking about their supernatural beliefs and their deity, and science is a process that discovers natural explanations for natural phenomena. They're definitely nope. They don't really go together. Get kind of tired of hearing that.
Science that is contradictory, at least to the Christian faith.
Most definitely depends on the version of Christianity, whether there have been directly contradictory findings, I mean. But there's a central idea in science that does directly contradict all versions of Christianity, and that is that you withhold judgment until you have evidence. You don't just do what you said you were doing before and go, look, there's a gap,
That's
so
enough.
God goes there. Or anything else, for that matter. Which is why, for example, I have not filled the gap of the ultimate origin of the universe. I can't. I don't have sufficient information for me to confidently say what I think goes there. I'm not going to fill it with nothing created nothing or whatever. I'm going to fill it with, not, therefore whatever I feel like, just, that's it. That's the end of it. You're not doing that. This whole video, you've been desperately looking for a way to jam God into places where...
All right, pause the tape. If y'all was rocking with me this song, Hot Take, man, appreciate y'all. we know gods don't exist. That's it, man. Like we just do. Like there's no God. I'm just that's it. Like it's kind of funny that we really still sit here and go back and forth with these people. We just know there are no gods. We figured out enough about the world to realize, oops, yep, yeah, it's not how things work.
He may or may not belong, and where you just don't have the information to say if he does or not. People have moral ideas. Therefore God. There's a universe. It probably came from somewhere. Therefore God. Entropy, some or other. Therefore God. This approach is directly contradictory to the scientific method. It's not the claims of science that contradict your religion, it's the methods.
Second of all, nobody entirely believes only in what they sense, in what they see, in what there is evidence for.
I mean, everybody has a blind spot somewhere. Everybody has shoddy reasoning somewhere. Everybody believes something for not very good reasons that maybe isn't backed up by enough evidence. Sure, I'm not going to argue that there's anybody who's intellectually perfect.
I can't believe that this guy's not a troll.
It's probably a good idea to try to have some kind of justifiable reason for what you believe. In other words, evidence.
Easy example is love.
I've been presented with plenty of evidence for love.
Everybody believes in love.
Yes, it's an emotion which I have felt personally.
No, speak for yourself. Not. It depends on when you ask me and who we talking about.
And also which I observe other people acting in ways that I consider to be in accord with it. The fact that other people love seems like a reasonable inference from things like, for example, a mother running out into the street to protect her child from an oncoming car. Do I have absolute certainty of it? Of course not. That's not a requirement for belief. I have evidence and I have reasonable confidence.
You've experienced love.
Yeah, which means that's something I sense. And
again, these fuckfaces tell you God is love. So we gotta really... We're going to have to work that one over, figure out what y'all talking about, because the type of, y'all be saying God is love. And again, have you read the Bible? The God y'all be talking about, I don't want that motherfucker loving me the way he be talking about. Nope.
I have evidence for. Why did you say this is something I have to believe with no evidence, and then go on to refer to the actual evidence I have? Did you forget what you were doing?
Love is beyond words. Love is beyond comprehension.
I mean, I can't transmit a human mental state in words.
So is the color orange.
Love is not beyond comprehension. When I experience it, I comprehend what I'm experiencing.
Love is beyond the molecular level.
Love is an emotion. It can be modified on the molecular level using molecules. That's what drugs do. That's what brain injuries do. When you say it's beyond the molecular level, what do you mean?
But can you even touch
level,
the color
electromagnetic
orange?
Level, the structural level, the systemic level?
You wouldn't say that my experience of love is simply the release of endorphins.
No, not simply. It's
See,
the
colors
brain.
are
It's
timeless,
much more complicated than that,
spaceless,
as usual. Also, aren't endorphins more of like a pain
immaterial.
suppressant? I feel like it would have made more sense to mention oxytocin or dopamine or something like that.
The result of my loving somebody might end in the release of endorphins.
You mean like the painful breakup?
I was just thinking kick you in the face.
Oh no, this sucks. Let's release some endorphins.
The release of endorphins is not what causes me to love somebody.
I'm pretty sure you're correct on that point. But I suspect you're not really just talking about endorphins, are you? You're talking about the entirety of the physical brain. The physical doesn't cause me to love somebody. Yeah, but it seems like it does, though. You can just deny that and go, I deny that, therefore God, and have at it.
And I hate when fucking theotards switch into basic science explanation mode. Like, oh, no, let me sit here and explain the cause and effect of relationships and the physical response that happens in your brainstem and all of this bullshit. Like, okay, you wanna talk about sticking to the empirical world? Then is that what you guys want to do? Again, Christians, don't try to science us. It never works out for you.
Life, it's just a weird approach.
There may be some level of attraction and level of chemistry, as they call it, something on the molecular level. It is common human experience that the experience of love between family, between friends, between spouses goes well beyond something that we can simply explain by the release of certain chemicals in the body.
Well, it's a mental state. Yeah, it's not just the release of chemicals. The release of chemicals affects it, but there's more to the function of the brain than just chemicals. Yeah. But again, it's not really about the chemicals, is it? It's about the physical basis of human emotion, which is what you're denying, and you're denying it on the basis that everybody just knows that's not what it is. Everybody knows that love is more than that. Yeah, most everybody knows jack shit about the brain. Go show 100 random people on the street an MRI of the brain and ask them to point to the hypothalamus. Yeah, I don't really care how everybody knows love works. What they know is purely what they feel, which is fine. Go feel the thing, but don't pretend that makes you some kind of an expert on its origin.
So we don't just believe in what we experience with our five senses. There's an experience beyond that which we're able to articulate.
I mean, sure, emotion is beyond the five senses. By definition, love is not sight, hearing, touch, smell, or taste. It's beyond the senses in the same way that a steak is beyond fruit. That doesn't make it something supernatural. It doesn't mean that it's not based in the brain. And it doesn't mean it can't be articulated. Why did you pair those two things together? If you can't sense it with your five senses, then it's by definition.
Is he done with his reason? How many more reasons he got? This is just
point number 7. Humans are distinct. We have a consciousness that is distinct.
My
distinct
Lord.
From what? Non-humans? Yeah, I would expect so.
We're able to think abstractly.
Okay.
We are aware of our existence. We're able to take ourselves outside of our existence for a second and reflect on our existence.
So we have imaginations. The answer to all of this is going to be...
Bro, earthworms are unique. What the fuck?
We have an inherent sense of the divine and the supernatural, which I mentioned previously in this video.
You did? I don't remember that. But yeah, I don't have that. This is an entire aspect of your experience that simply does not exist for me. Growing up, this stuff wasn't presented to me as some sort of serious part of reality. It was the stuff of stories. So I don't see things through that lens. I really wonder what the world would look like if religion was far less prevalent and culturally pervasive. And not just religion, but supernaturalism in general. My guess would be that this supposedly inherent sense would seem a lot less inherent. There'd probably still be some of it from agency detection and things like that. Of course, we don't live in that world, so it's pretty much impossible to verify. It's just a guess.
And the most interesting distinction, and it may be attributed to our freedom, being created in the image and likeness of God within the Christian tradition, is that humans are able to act in contradiction to their own flourishing, against their own nature.
Fucking every animal. Oh my goodness.
Flourishing, or are you going with in contradiction to their nature? Because I would say, yeah, the former is definitely possible.
I think this guy's content is literally it's just fucking brain pudding for Christians. I think he's just feeding people who don't want to think fucking words to use when they're not thinking. This is just really bad.
The latter, though, I don't think that's possible at all.
How does he
everything
find
you
these
do
people?
as an organism is part of your nature as an organism. To act in some other way would require you to be
Why
a different
does he find
organism,
these
to
people?
have a different nature. But then you just have a different nature and you'd be acting in accordance with whatever that nature was.
This is not a trivial point. Dogs must be dogs. Lions must be lions. All the rest of creation, trees must be trees. Humans do not necessarily have
Trees
to be
must
human.
be
Yes,
trees.
you do. I don't care if you drop a bunch of acid and feel like an alien. You're still a human. You don't have an option.
We do not have to do that which is good for our flourishing. We can act contrary to our nature, to our own detriment.
You can't act contrary to your nature, but yes, you can act to your own detriment. Why are you pretending like these are the exact same thing?
And
This
it's
is an
not a
unfortunate
unique human
reality,
ability
but
at
it is
all.
also part and parcel of our God-given freedom.
Not
Now,
even
I don't
close.
know exactly what you're trying to say the distinction is here
Tautology
between humans
must
and
be
animals, but
tautology.
animals act to their own detriment all the time. For example, look at intelligent animals in zoos or cages or things like that. They'll get into unnecessary fights or hurt themselves or stop eating, which seem like behaviors to the animal's detriment and against its well-being. Now, you didn't give any specifics, so I guess I won't either. I'm just going to assume that I've answered this sufficiently and move on.
Lastly, point number 8, I believe in God because I have seen those who have experienced God, who have been transformed by God, and who carry God in themselves.
Right. There are Christians who act nice. Therefore God.
There is no way to encounter a person who has been truly transformed by God and still have doubt as to his existence.
There's no way. No way for that to happen. It's just impossible. Okay then, I guess I've literally never met anyone who met this description. Where are all these people? Are you one of them? Because, like, I'm sorry, no offense, but I don't think just meeting you would overwhelm me with the Holy Spirit. I don't think your personality is as impressive as you think.
That's all I have for today. Make sure you subscribe, like, share.
Okay, cool. I sure won't. Well, thank you all for watching. If you would, before you go, please do give the video a like and click subscribe if you haven't. And if you really like the channel, maybe consider supporting. A small amount per video or per month helps a huge amount, and enormous thanks to all of my supporters who've already made that choice. For early access, email list.
Nice. All right, we made it through the 8 reasons. Oh my goodness, that was painful. Holy crap. All right, gang. But look, we have some fucking news. Donald fucking fuckface Trump has been indicted again. Indicted. Hang on a sec.
Footage that we have seen
10
of those
indictments.
What we don't know is who exactly has been charged. If it is the former president, if it is some of his allies. But again, knowing that this grand jury did hear a lot of evidence today, it's certainly possible that it could involve the former president. But we're just waiting for confirmation to see when and if these charging documents are eventually filed.
I want to ask you about a couple of more questions about that, but before I do, so we're in this sort of odd period, right? We know that there's
re-indicted and it feels so good. Re-indicted and you knew we would. Gang, it is on to the break of dawn. Look, I just keep bringing them. There's probably more. I'm hoping these are RICO charges. Oh, fingers crossed, y'all. I'm hoping these are RICO charges against Trump. Come on. There is an atheist God. Please give us RICO charges against Donald fuckface Trump. All right, gang. Thank you so much for joining in. This was super fun. We're going to go hang out and gather and after party as we after party. Get some food, have some fun, play some games, watch some shit on the internet. Come kick it with us. There's a link in the description. Thank you guys for all your support. I really appreciate it. There's a Ko-Fi link if you want to support, become a member. Otherwise, like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment if you're watching later. Let us know a good profession for a dumbass theologist professor, because that guy that guy, he might have a tough time, man. He might have a tough time. See if you got some good ideas. Love you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.